We back up in this thing, ready to get some on that wax.
Another session with the BrosTalk, where the beer's ice cold. BrosTalk. Another session with the BrosTalk. Come and tell us what you know. BrosTalk.
Yo. What up, world? What up, peoples and peoples out there? It's your boy, T-Broski. I got my main man, King Dan'O, in the building with me. This is BrosTalk. And we got the guys, man, the fellas, the homies, the bros. Yo.
No words needed for Lando.
I just always gotta say something.
No words needed for Lando.
So, Lando, I'm taking your side again. Is this hate going on?
Yeah. For me, it is. I don't have no problem admitting it right now. I don't know why, man. I can't
I'm
see
just
his
jealous.
eyes. I don't trust him right
So,
now.
I'm
jealousy.
just jealous. That's all, man. He's so goddamn cool.
That's what it is, man. We just hating on the vibe. You know the vibe. What was that dude's name?
Pop Smoke,
No.
R.I.P.
What's his name? Dude that was 6'9". His manager? Shoddy. That's what he used to say all the time. You know the vibe. Yep.
I don't.
Y'all didn't follow the whole case?
I mean, in case,
Not
yeah,
very
we talked
well.
plenty time, but I wasn't.
Nobody knew who Shoddy was. Come on,
Of
man.
course we knew he was, but
That's all I was talking about. I'm trying to.
we know who he was.
How y'all
but
players doing today, man? How's everybody doing today?
I'm doing great.
Looking forward to the weekend.
Okay, man.
Riding the rhino, Pico de Gallo.
You just knocked that
What?
off. Yeah, you just knocked that off before you. We're not, that doesn't matter. We're not getting started like that, buddy. You know what I mean?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Okay. But that's not what you
It
said.
could have been cold to somebody out there. I feel you.
Yeah, he just started up the sleeper cell. They're on their way here right now. He gave them the location.
Not here.
And see?
Allegedly.
I'm here.
He just admitted it.
I
Yeah,
remember it
No.
all the time.
I just said if I had done that, then I wouldn't send him here. That's all I was saying.
Oh, okay. You wouldn't send him in. Okay, I appreciate that.
It's not gonna sue you for defamation.
Damn, that's how easy it is, huh?
I guess it seems to be that way.
Anybody can get hit that fast, huh? I mean, do you agree with that? Like the ease of putting out wrong information. Well, first we gotta address that because that's where it starts. Somebody puts out wrong information, and then the ease of being able to sue somebody for that
But for somebody knowing it's wrong information,
and putting it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
somebody suffers some type of consequence because of that.
That's what I was about to say. It's just
fair.
So why isn't it the same like when a woman yells rape and it's wrong because he never was in the same building or the same situation?
Well, we're talking about two different things, though.
I know, it was just a joke. I'm just trying to play it
Oh,
off.
all right. You got, yeah.
no. You were serious, and we didn't know what you mean.
No, man. But, yeah, man. So we're going to jump right in. But before we jump right in there, I just had to say something. You know, if you're in a car with, like, not friends, but coworkers, just say, for instance, like, hey, man, we got to go down the street to work, right? And instead of working in the office, we're going to go to the field. You got to ride with a coworker. And that coworker gets in the car and proceeds to talk on the speakerphone
Oh shit.
through the car for more than
Through the car.
how you know how you
Yeah.
car phone, whatever you want to call it,
Right.
through the speakers
Right.
for more than 5 or 6 minutes, and that's generous. That's a hefty time to talk on the phone, personal conversation, and just continues to talk. I think that person's inconsiderate
Yeah.
and a prick.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
I just wanted to say that.
No, you didn't say anything?
Would you
Just
rather
feel
him
like you
talk
need to
on
get
the
that off
phone
your
without
chest?
through the car?
Yeah.
You'd rather him do that and
Yep.
risk?
Yep.
I'd rather you not talk on the phone at all.
Oh shit.
If
Well,
you
well,
on the
that's
phone,
it.
or
What if it's something serious?
you put the headset in.
But he's listening to the conversation. He knows it's not serious.
Well, they were
He
talking
can
about.
hear everything.
I mean, it was something. I don't know if
supposed
it was
to agree
serious.
with me.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm
You're right.
saying
You're
it
right.
wasn't
Hell yeah,
serious,
It wasn't.
man.
It
They're talking
serious
about
at all.
balloon animals.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I'm out of my business. If he's a driver, he controls everything anyway.
So that's just whatever he goes with.
If I'm driving, I'm listening to my music. If I want to talk to the goddamn speakers on the car, talking to that motherfucker, I am driving. You're a passenger. If you do not want to be a passenger,
Drive.
find you another way, you know?
And
But
we don't
right-
have other ways.
If you are driving, I'm shutting the fuck up. I'll get on my phone or do whatever, sleep, whatever. But if I'm driving, if I want to talk,
So you're just gonna be labeled.
I'll be a prick then.
Yeah, man, that's fucked
Hey,
up.
Guess what? Hey, if I'm with him, I make sure I drive. I'm not tripping. You get what I'm saying? I ain't tripping. All I'm saying is, if I'm driving, you better not trip.
I respect those laws. So, of course, I'm not going to be like, hey, man, get off the goddamn phone. You know what I mean? Because, for one, it's not my place.
Yeah.
For two, that's causing a problem that doesn't need to be caused. Or potentially causing a problem that doesn't need to be caused because it's not really that serious. And for three, technically,
It is that fucking serious.
It's rules for my car.
but
I'm
technically he's
sorry.
following the law the safest way to do
Yes.
this type of activity. So for me, at that moment in time, I still feel like he's a prick for that. You know,
Well,
I still
I
feel
look
like
at it
he's
this way.
selfish as hell.
But if
His
the
car
car's
or
going,
company rental?
if I'm driving, I control.
I'm asking.
I'm the captain
yo,
of this
yeah,
shit.
I'd be like, yo, let me drive then. Like, let's go.
Then I'm cool with that.
Is that the only time that he's allowed to be on the phone because y'all are going from one building to another building and you can't be on the phone in those buildings or something like that?
No. So we were traveling to our work site. You know what I'm saying? So like we was leaving the state. So
It don't matter where you get. Yeah, you got you guys in the car.
we
But
was in the car on a 5-hour trip, 6-hour trip, whatever.
I look at it this way. If it's going to the speaker, it's not just my conversation anymore. Everybody's conversation.
Let's wait for dinner, Linda.
Hey, I wouldn't take that from him.
And if you want to crack jokes, that's cool. It's ready for jokes to be cracked back.
Cracking back on you, huh?
But if I'm having and you like, hey, how you doing, Suzanne? That's you speaking. I can't. Hey, shut up! Nah, you gotta go through the goddamn speakers, bit up. I'm in here. You invited me to do this. It's an open chat.
This is part of the experience, man.
Yeah, it's an open chat.
So I
Goddamn.
should have just been like, hey, what's going
This is
on?
proximity
Yeah.
chat in this goddamn car.
Should have just chopped in, jumped in the combo then, man.
What type of
Good.
asshole are you making today?
Yeah, man, I should have just jumped right in.
See, now, like I said, we cracking jokes be disrespectful. You get different response.
I'm not being disrespectful.
No, he said she's talking about. He said that earlier. What's for dinner? You know what I mean?
I know, I'm
I
saying,
figured that
response
was
to that.
a boring casual conversation like that. That's what you talk about.
I mean, no, they was talking about
picking up some laundry or something.
swapping, like somebody died and signing over the house. You know what
And I
I'm
wouldn't say
saying?
you
Stuff like
I'm
that.
not saying like if somebody crack a joke, be disrespectful.
Oh, being disrespectful. Yeah, man,
that
disrespect
kind of
should
disrespect.
be met like that. You know what I mean? Somebody disrespect. Nah, knock it
And
out.
sit in the back seat.
Boo.
But if he's a prick, he's a prick. Fuck
No,
him.
that's just
If
me.
he's a prick, he's a prick. Fuck you.
Yeah, man. I
See,
I agree
shoot
with
the
you.
bird
Yeah.
because I don't read the rules and regulations.
Yeah, we could have blurred that out. I don't know if my editing skills is that good, but we could try.
All you gotta do is just
I could
please
just be like,
stand by.
yeah, I was just about to say. Yeah, man, look. I'm glad we all thought the same way.
A little bit different beat from all three of us, but
So the fact that we all thought the same way jumps us to our first topic.
number one,
UFOs. Why am I doing robot shit on UFOs?
it's robots
'Cause I've been
or
doing-
aliens.
Yeah, apparently. But
Aliens or robots.
the objects being shot down over the, I ain't say over the United States, but in the United States airspace area or whatever like that. First we was told it was a Chinese spy balloon, you know, what we was seeing or what people seen that traveled over the whole United States and then was taken down.
Like 8 days.
What?
Okay. They had traveled through the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Whole United States, that motherfucker got to come down to
You
Puerto
get it?
Rico, slide over to
shit.
Hawaii, go up to over the what is that?
Yeah,
Because
good chunk.
I didn't care so much because they ain't showing a path over where I'm at.
Yeah.
That's
yeah,
very
yeah.
true.
yeah.
Like,
You know what I mean?
Sure.
you say the whole, oh shit.
Well, yeah. Oh shit, I missed the part. Motherfucker was looping and nah, but it flew over the United States, and then what? I guess 2 or 3 days consistently after that, they were shooting down shit, right?
Right.
And then some of this shit has been saying that it's unidentified. I don't know what the fuck it is.
It's sad.
That's a true fact.
What do y'all
They
think
haven't
about?
recovered. They haven't recovered it yet.
What,
They having a hard time recovering the things they shot down.
yeah. So two-part question. Do you think that? Well, let's throw in the whole fact that supposedly 3 other balloons or whatever had flew over the United States or in our area in the couple years before or whatever like that we didn't know anything about. No, the Americans didn't know anything about. Not saying the government didn't, but the Americans didn't. So question 1, do y'all think that it was handled properly as for the first incident all the way leading up to the last thing being taken out?
So-
And do you think that it's a spy balloon or an actual true UFO? Not to the sense of an alien, but just a UFO.
It came out just as a, so they are 2 different things you're talking about, correct? Because we can verify that it was spy balloon pictures and stuff
Yeah.
like that, video. They have that, but we can't verify anything else they shot down. So
Yeah.
Right.
okay. So I believe the response is perfect because sometimes you can't let everything be known to the people and how it's supposed to be, and that is right how it be. But if it jeopardizes national security and stuff like that, they don't have to release that information. So if 3 flown over and they monitored and realized or counted, we don't know what they did, but I don't think they just let 3 fly over and, you know what I'm saying, like do harm to us. I don't think they let 3 fly over
They didn't
and
know.
threaten our national security.
Well, I mean, I would tell you I didn't know. That's what I would
They
say.
knew.
Like
The only reason they say that they didn't know until they analyzed flight patterns of different balloons, and they found out that during this time, balloons went over. That's the only time that they found out, and then they released it. Now, y'all could be right that maybe that's just covering, and they did know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I know for a fact that
they
our government tells us what we like a baby. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like hey, yeah, you're gonna be great in life. And knowing damn well like you got one eye, you
Come on now.
one half a foot, it's not gonna work out. You know what I mean? Like that was just the first thing that popped up in the top of my head. But in my mind,
I was just fighting because I already got a couple tickets.
I mean,
I'm trying to get them
It-
redeemed.
that was just whatever popped in my head. Thank you, but in my mind, I can't just tell you everything. So I'm gonna hold on. Me telling you, oh man, I just found out, makes a lot more sense than me saying I knew about it, didn't tell you about it, and I'm not gonna tell you all the information that I know about it.
There's things, I mean,
Simple
we
as
voted,
that.
I'll make it real political right here. We voted for people to make these laws to where they can use certain things. Like, they don't have to tell us because they voted in somewhere, where they don't have to tell us things.
Yeah.
Because, let's see, that's real political. For the people we vote for, so, I mean, they don't have to tell us. They see shit all the time.
What y'all think?
I think it was a little delayed.
As for shooting it down,
Yeah, it was over for like 8 or 9 days.
so when would you have
so
shot
long.
it down?
Probably after it crossed over the second time over the main United States, because when it crossed over Alaska, I get like, alright. And then it was over Canada for a while, and then it dropped into the United States. I probably would have done it when it was over Montana, because there's not a lot of people that live in Montana, and I felt like, I know they were saying they were worried about debris falling and hitting people, that's why they waited until it got off the coast. But like I said, it's Montana. I'm sure you had plenty of area where you could have shot it down that there was no one at. And you also don't know the pattern of the balloon. You don't know where it's going to go. So how'd you know it was going to go off course
Well, I
or
mean,
to go off the coast.
it
to shoot
wasn't.
down. So
I don't think it was propelled by any type of motor or engine. So in that theory, they're basing it off of wind and where the jet streams will go if it was caught in one of those. You know, what I mean? Even still, like you're still right. You can't determine where it's gonna go, but I would assume that based off of previous knowledge from those flight patterns, they'll be able to put two and two together and predict, hey man, it's gonna flow this way or flow that way. I just assume that.
I'm pretty sure that one has a propulsion system. I could be wrong, but it's a directed, like the way that it came down didn't follow wind patterns or anything. Like it, I believe I could be wrong about that.
Motorized?
So if it's motorized, then it's manned, not necessarily unmanned.
Right.
Manned.
That's what I believe
programmed.
is they control the pattern back in China. And they're controlling it from there, deciding where it goes, which is why they use the course. Oh, it got blown off course. Well, they said the same excuse for the one that they found in Central America, you know, that no one ever shot down, but it's the same thing. I don't think that they rely solely on the wind. I think they have small motors that, you know, pivot which direction they go while relying on the wind as well. But I won't hang my hat on that. I could be wrong about that.
Can I address the point of wanting to shoot down over U.S. soil?
Yeah.
I mean, you don't know what's in there. You know what really it is.
Right.
And you cool with just,
What do you think's gonna be in there?
I don't know, but I'm not willing to take that chance.
Cat piss.
Innocent.
And I
It could be a chemical. It could be a chemical
and
attack.
that makes complete sense.
As president, as anybody in charge, I'm not willing to risk human life for what this is.
I can hear that. The main issue that I have is the inconsistency, because you waited all this time for the first one, and then these other ones, it felt like he was like, shit, public didn't like that I waited so long, so he immediately shot him down.
But we're talking about two different things. We knew for a fact that it's a spy balloon that was over the United States. Now, one thing that's come out talking about, these other things they shot down are spy balloons.
Right. So when you feel more comfortable knowing what it is versus shooting a random unidentified object down?
Hell no.
They don't know what it is.
Exactly.
But they knew that
So
was
that would
spy balloon.
have more likelihood to have a chemical payload or a nuclear payload on it than a known Chinese spy balloon that China is saying, yep, that's our spy balloon, or yes, that's our balloon. They didn't say it was a spy balloon, but
I understand where you're coming
China
from.
isn't going to start that.
But so for me, I would say that.
So, but those, okay, I'm sorry, bro. Just let me. But those are two different. These things had propulsions in removing and being maneuvered. They knew for a fact that this was a balloon. So they're looking at this thing as a manned aircraft. That's what they're thinking at first, because the way it's maneuvering and doing shit, they think they're being something. But they identify as a spy balloon. We can wait for it to get away because we don't know what's in there. But this shit is being maneuvered. I don't see a human living in a chemically field. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's not. I just think that if it's maneuvered, if they know it's a jet or anything like that, they get that motherfucker out there. Correct?
yeah, but that would be these are extremely slow moving objects. Like these aren't planes that they're shooting or anything
But they're
like
maneuvering.
that would move that fast.
But they're maneuvering. They're going
I haven't
different
heard anything
directions.
about them maneuvering. I've heard very little information about anything that they're doing. I'm not saying that they weren't. I'm just saying I haven't heard much of information at all. That
So you think that they would
government's releasing.
identify that this is a spy balloon, but wouldn't identify the other things as being spy
I think the only reason they identified it as a spy balloon is because so many Americans saw it and said, "What the fuck is that?" And it was all over the news, so they fucking addressed it. But if people hadn't seen it, no, they wouldn't have said shit. Probably like in 2018 when the three flew over America, right? Like they didn't say
Of course
anything
they're not gonna
then
say
because
anything,
Americans didn't see anything.
But that's not talking about the point that I'm. These pilots had eyes on it and couldn't identify what it was. It's pilots who shot these things down. They couldn't identify what it was. Pilots who shot the balloon down can fly up and identify, oh shit, that's a balloon.
Right.
It was pilots who shot these things down, and they are telling The fact that, hey, it's doing this, this, and this. I don't know how it's flying, and they have not come out and said, hey, they balloons. If there's balloons,
Right.
I think they would have said it off top was, oh shit. Same thing that happened over here. Right. China got these, I'm just using China because that's a balloon. China got these, and these. We done shot 4 spy balloons down. Probably the pilots got up on something. They don't know what the fuck it is. I'm not saying it's aliens. It could be.
It's a UFO.
It could exactly.
UFO
does
flying
not mean aliens.
Yeah.
No.
But I believe that pilots got up on there and said, "Ain't no balloon, boss."
Gotcha. See, I hadn't heard all that, so that definitely changes.
I mean, but your point of view, I would
I can
understand.
only go off of what I've heard. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would agree with it. What you're saying, if we were in a so to me, if that situation happened, a balloon, and then something else is in the sky, I don't know if we're getting attacked. I'm shooting shit down. That's just me personally. That's me. If that balloon does whatever it does, and I take the same steps that the government took, letting it go those 8 days or however many days, and it gets off to where I feel safe, I shoot it down, boom, and something else show up in my airspace, I can't identify it, motherfuckers send, because when that certain type of thing, they scramble. They scramble some jets. No, I'm saying, but they scramble some jets.
Yes, they do.
They go out there, and them motherfuckers are saying, I don't know what this is, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Shoot it down. It's just that simple.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. We'll deal with the repercussions.
Right.
Because who's really going to be able to fuck with us? So before we get into that, what do you think
for
about
them is the whole thing for the pilot is to try to catch up to them and then make a radio contact with them.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's see what frequency you want.
Half the time they can't even catch up to them. You know what I'm saying? That's where the shoot down comes in.
Or they get there and they can't find their frequency. It's
Right.
moving weird.
Right.
Like this motherfucker ain't got jets on. I don't know how it's flying.
Right.
And it just did a move here and move here.
and then sometimes that's just an experiment, I would think. Like, I don't know what this is. I'm going to just shoot at it.
All we know is
If it force fields like Independence Day, we're in trouble. And I know that.
We call Will Smith.
Well, you going to slap the shit out of it?
Jeff Goldblum. They both still here. They defeated aliens before.
Hey,
How do
calm
we get the
down.
aliens to talk about his wife?
What do you think about the whole situation? Do you think that the motherfuckers handled it correctly?
I mean, I definitely think that they could have shot it down, like Corey said, somewhere in the open over Montana or something like that. Like I hear the whole thing about.
So you don't think that there was no risk?
But I don't like the risk is.
Hold
on, the risk is you don't know what's in the balloon, so that's why I think that's why they wanted to wait till it was over the ocean.
What do you mean?
So that
Like,
makes
Because it might the whole thing
They don't know
could
what's
be a
attached
ploy.
to it.
You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
they don't know what's attached to it.
Right, they shoot it down. There's some type of payload in there that
Yeah,
was
so you're saying shoot it down over Montana.
right. Well, if you over some dunes and shit over Montana, ain't nobody out there.
Why not? What's gonna happen?
If it's one
You ever
American,
seen 127 Hours?
if it's one American out
You ever
there,
seen that movie?
No.
That guy was in the middle of nowhere by himself. It happens. People could be out there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Me and my family has went 500 miles away from here in any direction. We just drove for hours. Stopped. Got out. Walked around for hours. Had a blast. That could have been us. That's all I'm saying. I mean, we've never done that, but I'm just making a point.
Nah.
So y'all comfortable with shooting it down?
There could
over-
have been a boat in the ocean right there. There could have been a surfer. There could have been
I'm pretty sure they cleared that area.
100% sure.
probably, but still
They couldn't clear.
they couldn't stop this.
Who the
guy.
fuck is in Montana? Y'all saying that? So
That's
who
what I'm
the
saying.
Come
There's
on.
people there.
I'm not shooting it over United States soil.
I mean, well, we know, like, in real shit, fallout is real.
Yeah.
So if it was some type of,
It says a nuke.
But most nuclear bombs now don't have fallout. It's not
Okay.
a thing anymore.
okay,
Well, because
Which is insane. I didn't know that was true until
What do you mean? Well, what if I wanted to? I mean, I have the ability to fucking
Make it fall out.
fucking fall
Yeah.
out if I wanted
This
to.
is a fallout. Old new. Well,
No one-
OG
no one
now.
has-
with a Z.
You know what that's what?
No one has the. I can't remember if it's. I think it's the Fusion. That is the old style.
So
which
you're
is
saying
what
Germans don't live
creates-
anywhere?
Germans don't live anywhere.
What
Yeah.
Germans gotta do.
Well, they have to
produce
create.
all that shit.
They have to make the
Fuck.
nuke, and like all the uranium supplies are like monitored and shit like that. You can't just make a nuke. The only countries that's close to that is Iran and North Korea.
But we know China has nukes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But there are some
Because
that
Russia
have
has nukes.
extremely old ones.
Yeah.
Who's to say that? Old, new. If I'm trying to fuck you up, I'm gonna
Old
make sure
nuke
that
is
it's a
gonna
fallout.
survive. And
I said
it's
old
gonna drag
or
the
new.
shit down. A new one may, but a new
Old
one.
or new. So I'm not willing to sacrifice shooting something down. I don't know what the fuck they got on it.
I get you.
All I
I just don't
see
think the
is
risk
some-
is that big.
Signal that I can fucking jam. I don't know what's in that balloon.
That's what me personally. I'm on the jamming shit. Just trying to jam some shit.
We jam some. Hey,
Yeah.
hey, we knock this communications down. All right, now let's see.
That's the best I could do. And I don't know what this ploy is. If this is a ploy to get me to shoot it down and I fall for it, like, haha, gotcha. And I'm like, fuck. You know what I mean? I got to deal with that type of shit. Now, it could be something totally different. It could be just literally a spy balloon just trying to get out
Yeah,
of
but like
shit.
countries take little jabs and shit and do all types of shit that go on. Like,
Not
that
the
we
number
don't
one in
even
the
know
world.
about, you know what I'm saying?
True, true. So you addressing the same. So you're shooting down everything.
Not caring about.
No, I'm just you just shooting down everything. So in that situation, you're shooting it down over Montana. Something else pop up.
I'm not trying, like, if you come through over Canada, I guess then you got a decision to make. But usually, I guess I wouldn't even want to come past the beach. Like, I'm shooting it down in the ocean if I see it coming. Like, 'cause you got
So you're not even waiting to
Right.
get to Montana.
right.
Okay. Which makes sense. You know what I mean? Like for me, I'm more of the lines of the first three. I understand. Y'all let them go through. They slide through. I get it. Cool. No problem. No issues. Especially if I know if the American people. And I that's why I say like.
How come nobody care about them three? Why don't
Well,
they-
American people didn't know about it.
So what?
So now you're just now finding out.
What's that got
What
to
you gonna
with
do
it?
about it? It's done.
Well, I'm saying it happened.
That's like
Why
somebody.
you don't care?
That's like you get knocked out.
That don't
Somebody
make sense.
punching you twice in your gut. I'm like, man, that motherfucker punched you twice, and Chauncey punched you twice in your gut, man. When you was knocked out, you like, I don't even feel that shit. I ain't even know. That shit ain't nothing, man. It's old news. It's fake news, as he would say. You know what I mean? But the bigger picture is I can say the bigger picture, but what if China is in a position or wanting to start some beef, man? Pop some shit off, man. Crack some shit off, man. What if this is their way of trying to survey our whole land to see where our bases are?
Yeah, they got low
We
flying
understand
satellites
that.
for all that shit.
I know. I'm just trying to
The what if scenario.
a what if scenario to where they want to start some shit with us.
They would need.
Do you think that we're able and capable of defeating the motherfuckers?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want to fuck with us.
And Russia.
Yeah,
So what if they align with Russia?
It doesn't matter.
they're both going to fuck down because we have enough people that say we got to jump in on this.
Russia's got enough of its own problems.
I was gonna say you've seen Russia. They can't do anything.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Like it's crazy what's going on with you. Congrats to Ukraine.
Yeah.
But and then China is the only thing you really have to worry about. China. Well, I mean they're catching up militarily as far as like advanced subs and shit like
It's
that.
got mass
Numbers.
But numbers is yeah.
Yeah,
It's
they
just a lot
they on Larry June
people
level
in China.
numbers.
They
The military has a
if they
huge-
felt they was that bad, they'd have been got what is it, Taiwan?
Yeah.
If they felt they was that bad, they'd have
Yeah.
walked over there. So
Yeah.
So who do y'all think? Who do you think would shoot off a nuke for real? That's a terrible
Russia.
question.
Russia's the only one that
That's the
scares
only
me.
one that'll probably do
Yeah.
some shit like
Because
that.
Putin is
Or
that
North
desperate.
Korea if they can figure it out.
North Korea.
Facts,
I think North Korea is too. I think my personal is
They
North
would
Korea.
do
We was
South
having this
Korea.
conversation at work. I think North Korea is too, but I think if North Korea shoots a nuke off, he's done. He's done with everything.
Oh yeah.
No, not like, yeah, it's gonna take 3 nukes to blow up that whole fucking country, obviously. But I think like for him, once he makes that decision, like, hey, like he's done with it.
Right.
It's like suicide for him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Some type of suicide. That's why I don't think the nuclear game, it's a strategic game to play when it comes down to politics, but when it comes down to physical life, you know that once you everybody's
You
going
signed your death warrant, yeah.
Do you think?
It's over.
But the thing is, when you say, go ahead, Lando.
I was gonna say, do you think that maybe he has like a self sabotage so that they never quite get there? You know what I'm saying?
Kim Jong-un?
Yeah, your boy. You know what I'm saying? And so that he can always remain in power because they're always gonna find the right stuff, but they keep outwitting us. They keep.
What is that?
So
What's
I
the
think,
thing?
yeah. Well, when I found out
shit,
that,
like,
bro, when I found out that he said that he made the burrito in like 2019 or 2018 or some shit like that,
I didn't hear that.
bro, I swear that
He said what?
He told his people that he came up with the burrito.
Yeah. Why not?
He told his people this.
Why not? Exactly.
Right.
They don't have
Tell them
no
whatever the fuck they want
exactly.
to.
But when I found that out, I was like, oh yeah, they're so far behind that he's so far behind that he's crazy enough to pull a maneuver like that. But he's smart enough to know that that's the end of him.
Yeah.
Whether it's your people you care about, your country you care about, your legacy you care about, your bloodline you care about. Self-preservation is real.
Bro,
You know
he's
what I'm
making
saying?
everybody in this country change their name from a sister's name so she can be the only one. Did y'all see that?
No.
What?
He's
No.
doing what?
What do you say?
So, like, for instance, if I said everybody whose name is Kim, you need to change it because there's only one Kim, and that's my sister, and I rule this country.
Oh, shit,
Everybody
yeah.
gonna change that mother.
That shit crazy.
No, no.
I
He's
didn't
charged
think about the word Kim. Let me use like
Right.
Jessica.
Son,
Right.
I got you.
No, see, I thought about it like afterwards, like I said it, but like Jessica. All Jessicas
try
gotta
to be
change their
neutral.
name.
But there's no.
Saying if I was him.
If you, okay.
Hey, everybody gotta change their name from Jessica because there's only one Jessica, and that's my sister.
Yeah,
And guess what?
What's going
Motherfuckers marching on down and get their shit changed.
Happily.
Yeah. Well, not happily, but
No,
they
I-
look
no, they
happy.
happy.
Yeah,
They happy. You
I
gotta
know
be
Joanne
happy.
today.
Happy about the shit?
They ain't most of them.
Truly, they're not really happy, but
But
yeah,
they have to fake it because you got
You get
caught
your ass
crying.
canned.
They'll kill you. Like
I'm
if
Joanne
you weren't
today.
crying when what's his name died
his dad. Yeah.
Yeah.
at the
Bro, they
parade, if
made
you
a
weren't
bench.
crying,
They covered a bench in glass, encased in glass that his dad would sit on.
Yeah.
A bench.
Yep.
But you know what?
It's like holy shit.
But you know what? That family didn't learn that shit. That's their shit.
Yeah, you don't have. I don't have a problem with somebody owning
No.
something and running it
Yeah,
the way they
right.
want
That's
to run
one guy's shit.
That's it
That's
because
what the issue is. You got a whole country and there's one guy running that whole
That's
thing
what this
telling
guy
you don't think
got
that you don't think
No,
that-
no. Leave
Yeah,
that.
we're talking about
What
this.
I have a problem with is stopping somebody from leaving.
Right.
Whatever they
Which
want to
they
call
do.
defecting.
They don't have the option to leave.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you somehow gain hold of a country and you're able to run that bitch however you want, and people want to come to that motherfucking parlay, politic with you, cool. But you can't stop motherfuckers from leaving that bitch.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't give a damn what's going on.
So-
We know for a fact right now that people are being stopped from leaving that bitch. If you ask them, they're gonna say, "No, I want to be here." We know that. Just like you said, they didn't really want to go change their names. They would rather keep their shit and get the fuck up out of here. But in reality,
Not an option.
that's not an option. So if I do this, I'm subject to getting killed, my family get killed, or whoever's gonna get killed.
now
So
are we mad at him or his position?
he's following laws and rules
Yeah.
that was set in place
Because
prior to
he
him.
holds the
You
position
can
as
change it.
He
holds
can
the
change it,
position
but I
as
was blaming
many
him too.
other people
Yeah, I blame everybody.
And things go on like that.
I blame
Like you
everybody.
look at, I wish I hadn't, but in some countries you can't take, as a woman, you can't take, your top off, or you get.
Yeah.
Or you
It's
get
like
killed like in Iran.
Yeah, I
And
read.
then when you protest, hundreds of protesters get killed because they don't believe in that shit.
See that to me? Okay, again,
So the position to me, like he's just, he's abusing his power.
Yeah.
Yes, I would say he's
Because
abusing his
position he
power.
holds is many, like,
But
because
but just to touch up on what you just brought up,
yes.
might be controversial, might be gross, whatever. But in Afghanistan, Iran, Iraq, certain the Shiites and Sunnis, when they come in power, they implement their law.
Same as North Korea.
I don't think they would. I think North Korea has only been the
Where
same.
they come power, they gonna implement that.
Guess what?
You know what I mean? The same.
If the same groups you spoke held power for so many long, there's nobody in North Korea can dethrone them.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, North Korea is a family. Like that you're not gonna get out the
Kinda like the
Kim Jong-un family. That family is not gonna
kind of like England,
give up
kind of like who?
It's a monarchy.
a monarchy. Yeah, they're
So
not
like
gonna
Queen
give that
Elizabeth
up.
and stuff. So
Yes.
only difference
The
between
royals
them,
type shit.
only difference between them is
Their people have freedom and democracy to a certain extent.
they give a little more freedom.
The monarchy in England doesn't even have, that has nothing to do with the
They're
People.
They're basically like a fucking
it's
show
just a
now.
show now, yeah.
We can
But
sit
they
up
can
here and act
implement
like
laws.
I was about to say
Yes, the fuck they could.
we can sit up here and
Back then they could. Now that
They
now
can
they're
go
stripping
Kim
them of
Jong Un
power.
if they wanted to.
What?
I guarantee it.
What?
They can go Kim Jong Un if they want to.
but what I'm saying behind the
You don't think
scenes,
so?
About that. I don't know. I think they stripped them of all their power, but who's to
Right.
say if they get people to support them that they
coup's
couldn't do
real.
a coup?
Man. Coup doesn't
So-
necessarily have to happen from the lowers trying to come up. It could happen from the uppers taking over, i.e. in Rwanda. Well, that was the lowest coming up. But whatever. The whole point I'm trying to make is Sunnis and Shiites, like in those type of places, you kind of, whether it's right or wrong, you kind of know what's expected when certain powers get in place.
Powers come into play. Yeah.
If you're not on my side, you know they're gonna come through and slaughter us. So you either disclaim something you've been claiming your whole life, and that's the only way, or denounce something that you've been pronouncing your whole life, like your
What you gotta do to survive?
yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Which
or
sucks.
you hide in the attic for about 2 weeks, like Anne Frank, or whatever the fucking case.
Which
may be.
sucks.
Which sucks. You know what I'm saying? So you're talking about somebody that has to denounce what they believed in their whole life. You know what I mean? And I don't agree with the actions of killing people, but I understand why certain things may take place when it comes down to a power structure. I get in power, I want to rule the way I want to rule. You know what I'm saying? Like,
And all countries have that nasty history.
yeah,
All of them.
yeah,
And they should be talked about.
Because people are people.
yeah.
No matter where they come from, we're all still fucking people.
That's a fact. The beautiful part about people is we have the ability to think on our own. You know what I mean? Like you although the masses may say this, you still have the ability to think on your own. You can make your own decisions. You could be who you want to be to a certain extent. You know what I mean? So like that's the beautiful part about being a human versus being like
Antelope.
yeah. That motherfucker better run and jump and
But you're
kick.
still an
Who?
animal.
No.
Animal.
An mammal.
Animals.
That's an animal.
No, that's associated with animals.
We're
We are
animals.
human beings.
We're
We are
animals.
not the same.
Humans are animals.
What type of? What animal?
Human.
You.
Homo sapien.
Homo sapien. Come on, dog. Y'all know we come from the stars.
I'm not saying we don't, but we still
That's all I'm
still
saying. So
classified
how?
as animals.
Because of a white man's.
I'm with you.
I know I'm fucking with you. But critical race theory, man. I don't know if a lot of people know what that is. If I'm editing properly, I'm gonna drop it's gonna be at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? The definition of what it is be at the bottom.
Like this part gonna be in there?
Don't worry about it. I'm about to read it off.
Yeah, it's gonna all be in there. It's all gonna be in there. Don't worry about it.
I get a little.
Yeah, I don't know about whatever that spirit fingers was. I don't know about that.
No, these are spirit fingers.
But critical race theory, man.
I'm trying to get the definition for you.
Okay. Somebody got the definition so everybody have a clear understanding of what it is.
Yeah, because I think that's one of the biggest issues with it.
It is.
Is people will sit there and argue completely different points neither one of them is making because they think different points about critical race theory. They're like, oh, it means this, and I'm like, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, but before they even get to that point of trying to find out what it is, they're already at each other's neck.
Exactly. No,
so it never even comes to a head to understand. It's always just no, but you know what I mean. So that's where I want to start. For me, I have to find out what the actual definition of it is, so we'll have an understanding of what we're talking about based off of.
Okay, this is from Oxford Languages.
And that's a good company.
Critical race theory. A set of ideals holding that racial bias is inherent in many parts of Western society, especially in its legal and social institutions, on the basis of there having been preliminary design for and implemented by white people.
Got it. Tracking? Okay. So.
And I don't think talking slavery is that. Learning about slavery is that.
Correct.
No.
Okay. So in layman's terms, what would you say, in your layman's terms, what would you say critical race theory is? Like if somebody said, tell me in a few words, without a whole definition, what would you say?
Critical race theory in lame terms to me is, I don't want to, I'm just going to say it. A white person doesn't want to be blamed for slavery and stuff like that, and how the system is built for you to be down and then to be up, in lame terms.
Next.
Critical race theory, to me, it's just the study of institutionalized racism, like the definition. Like that's the definition that I thought it was.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically just a different way to look at. I guess it feels that racism is basically ingrained into like all aspects of society. Is pretty much what the writers say.
So I would say systemic racism.
Yeah.
Do I agree with the critical race theory being, just based off of what I'm saying, systemic racism? I would say yes. There's ways, options, maneuvers, plans, things that have been set in place for racism to prevail. And racism, to me, in this term, I don't mean a necessary person. It could be something as simple as red zoning. And if you're not, sure what red zoning is, you might want to look it up. But red zoning is cordoning off neighborhoods for white folks only, or cordoning off neighborhoods for black folks only, or stopping black folks being able to get a loan that a white man can get, and whatever. Do I think that shit is real? Yes. Do I think that the video that I seen, had points where I agreed with and points that I didn't agree with, right? And this was a video that was sent in our group chat. You're not in there, but I just like to feel special sometimes, like I'm.
This is our group, damn it.
Yeah. But within that video, there's points that I agree with and points that I didn't. One of the points that I didn't agree with is that all white people are. What did it say? You're responsible for the actions of your ancestors, so to speak, or your grandfather.
That's not what people are saying. They're just saying you have better opportunities because of their actions. You're not responsible for their actions. You just have better opportunities.
That I can agree with, but the way it was literally word for word, that's the way it was said in that video, is that white people are responsible for the actions of their grandparents or their forefathers, whatever you want to call it. That's the way it was put in that video. So again, we're talking about 2 degrees of how something's presented and how something's received, and how something's received on the presented side, and how something's received on the received side. So or vice versa, whatever.
But if they're continuing the same practices, you should be held to the same responsibility as they would back in the day. Right?
Elaborate on that. What do you mean?
So like, let's say you say, man, I'm running this company because this is how we're running it since 1912. This is how we run it since 1912. Like, you changed nothing?
Yeah.
Like, you know, everybody's equal now. Like, everybody has equal opportunity and stuff like that. But you, since you've been running since 1912, there's no way you'll see a person of minority descent, a minority in a higher power. They're always going to be the lowest of lowest. You're going to pay them the lowest of the lowest. You don't think that they should be held the same responsibility? Well, I think that's what people talk about. They should be held the same responsibility as they would back, because you're using the same old practices.
So okay, y'all got any point? Because I'm about to go to a different. Y'all got anything y'all want to touch on with that? I'm about to go to a kind of different area with that one.
Like off of the CRT? Because I mean, there's still tons of stuff to talk about.
No, I'm saying. So my thing about that is, so with that being said, so we're going to hold somebody accountable that has wealth from generational wealth.
If you're still using Jim Crow laws and stuff like that, modern day, I think you should be able to the same responsibilities as if we said, hey, if you're using Jim Crow laws, this is what's gonna happen. I don't care if that was made in 1960, 1970, if it's 2023 and you inherit this business and you're still running those laws that we said you can't do, you should get held to those standards.
Well, yeah, of course.
That's
of course.
what I'm saying.
If that's literally breaking the federal law. You know what I mean?
That's
so
all I'm saying.
I would
think
agree with
that's
that. I would agree
going
with
on.
that.
I think that's going on, and people are starting to realize, like, oh shit.
So what about teaching slavery? Because that's one of the big issues. Teaching slavery, or I would assume how they teach slavery, because from what I've known, they're trying to take the slave out of the quote unquote history of America. I don't know if they're trying to change it to like a subservient thing or something like that, but I'm not in school, so I don't know. But I know that teaching slavery is a big thing, and that's something that's been trying to be pulled out of school, from sharecropping to slave owning to Jim Crow.
I don't know how true this is, but they say it's partly due an effort to keep certain students from feeling bad or something, or feeling like they, for, I guess, being connected to that type of shit. But it's like, I've never felt bad. I mean, I felt bad for the slaves, but it's not like I felt connected. Like, I'm like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't get that whole we gotta shield them from the history of the country for their own personal feelings. You know what I'm saying?
I'll let you go before I give my theory. I have a theory on that. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that history should be taught in its entirety, and you should teach all the ugly stuff for history, because people who don't know history are doomed to repeat it, and that's what you should do. But you know, the issue is the fundamentals from CRT that they teach that's more problematic. Like, I don't think most people, I'm not saying all, I think most people have a problem with, you know, of course slavery should be taught. I think most people feel that way. But I think it's more some of the other things that they're taught through CRT, which we talk about that later. You know, basically, it's almost to an extent at times it's like teaching kids racism, like what racism is, like having them fill out charts that show like what kids are more, dominant or are more powerful because of their, skin color and things like that, and creating, different charts and shit, and organizing classes by race, and there's like all kinds of different examples of trying to, do everything in the name of equity. Like there's these awards that help kids get into college, but most of them were Asian, and so they just like stopped announcing because they felt bad that other races weren't getting it.
Well, if you're
So that's
funded,
not equity.
If I'm exactly, that's what I was about to say. If I'm presenting something in a manner which is equality for everybody, but I'm utilizing a scheme or a avenue in which I could quote unquote fund this, and let's be real, Asians, I'm not gonna say the Asian people, but they tend to have some money. You know what I mean? They tend to come to America and they tend to flourish. So if I got money and I can make other people put money in, or get my other friends or other family, other counterparts to put money in to help benefit our kids in college.
That's not why they're getting in though. They're getting in because they're scores.
Okay, well, I'm just trying to.
At least for the most, I'm sure there are examples where people do certainly get in, but for the most part, it's to the point where they require, like certain kids, certain races to get higher scores. We talked about that before on certain tests than other races, so you can make it equal for everyone. And I just don't agree that we should be teaching kids certain aspects like that. That's where I get into the problems of CRT. It's more of a thing that I think should be taught in
That's
college.
not a CRT issue, but CRT is only
CRT
taught.
issue.
CRT doesn't have anything to do with enrollment at
Yeah, y'all read the definition, but y'all haven't read stuff by Derek Bell, who
Hold on.
invented
It has
CRT.
nothing. It has nothing to do with policies on enrollment issues and shit like that. And it's just a college level course. You know what I'm saying? It's taught at the college level.
Right, but these things that I just said are offsets of. It's the same exact principles, and that's why that video that I said,
that shit happens. That shit, those are extreme cases. That's not the norm.
They're not though.
They're not the norm.
You're talking in
But
all
they're
of
not
Buffalo
the norm.
school system, Fairfax County, Virginia, all these schools, they paid dude $20,000 to come talk for an hour about the effects of racism and stuff like that. It's like
What's wrong with that?
$20,000.
I mean, but
That's
Virginia
$300
Wells
a
is
minute, bro.
Commonwealth
Like,
state.
What's wrong with talking about the effects
that's
of racism?
ridiculous. There's nothing wrong with that. For $20,000 for an hour, that's ridiculous. For a
That's what they
school
want to do.
to
I
be
mean,
spending their
that's what they
funds
got
that
money
way.
for.
That's what his rate is. That's his
I mean,
rate.
but what are we talking
He's
about when you
he's
say
spending
talk about racism? What do you mean? Like, what
Okay.
are they in there preaching racism, or are they in there
They're talking
preaching
about different ways to implement CRT in the classroom.
which
No,
is
they're talking
equality?
No.
I have
No,
numerous
no,
articles.
I'm
The National Education Association admits that they teach CRT,
Which
in
is
multiple
equality.
curriculums.
they're trying to tell people to be
Equity.
equal.
Equity, not equality. Equity, which is not as good as equality by any means.
So what type of equity are we talking about when it comes down to people?
It's like I said, you're
I'm
taking,
investing into people how when it comes down to equity. Because when we're talking equity, we're talking an investment and a back end turn.
right now. That's
Equity is ownership, right?
Not necessarily ownership.
No,
Equity
equity
is
is
an investment
making
in
sure-
a back end turnout.
No,
Somewhere.
equity. No. We're talking
he's
equity
talking
as in
equity and equality.
equity.
As in-
Everyone gets the same outcome.
Right.
That's what equity is.
So equality.
So equality.
No, not equality. So look, equity.
So that's what I'm saying.
Equity
Explain
would
that.
be there's the same amount of white people as there are black people in the NBA because that's equity. Equality is the best people get into the NBA regardless of anything but their talent. That's why equality is
Okay,
so much
that's
better
it.
than
Okay.
equity, and that's
Yeah,
exactly
the
why
quality of being
critical.
fair and impartial. That's the definition of equity. It is the quality of being fair and impartial. In critical race theory, when you say the definition of is saying that a system was set up to benefit white folks.
Right,
We
so
can go
there's
back
an
to
impartial benefit to it.
So we can go back to the simplest thing that's still out there, which is the redlining of districts to where,
It's not out there. It's illegal. It's been illegal for 2 decades.
and it still
It still has effects.
happens.
That's-
It does not
still
have.
has effects.
Anytime
So
that happens,
that
it's
right there crushes that. That on right there it has been set up, so we have to teach that in school. Did this not happen? It happened, right?
It's like I said,
So
it's
we're
teaching
going-
the fundamentals.
Did it
that-
happen? Yes or no? We all know. Did it happen, Lando?
Yes, that happened.
Corey, did it happen?
Of course that happened.
Okay, so we're allowed to teach that.
That's fine to teach that. It's the principles that, you know, white people are the oppressors and other people are put down. It's the intersectionality.
Nobody's
This is literally that.
nobody's
That
saying that white
proves it.
people are the oppressors. It's just saying white people
This is what's
oppress
being
people.
taught.
That
This was
that
being taught in
lit-
schools. Like,
but
there's literally
that
multiple arguments.
did it not happen? Were they not oppressors before?
That's fine, but to sit
Did
there
it
and
not happen? They
That's
did.
not the point.
So that is the
that's
point.
not the point. To
That's
sit
the
there
point
and
is that
tell
they
third
don't-
graders that you are this and you're privileged because
You
you're
are
this and they're
this-
not. You're teaching them racism. They don't even know this shit. They
This
go into the class,
is
feel good,
what
and they come
happened.
out knowing new ways
They're
to
not
be
teaching
oppressed that they
third
didn't even know
graders.
before.
It shows. All it shows is this is what happened.
Bro, multiple
Right.
examples.
This is privilege. It's been happening on a college level. Now it's boiling down. People are starting to this is the woke culture. Hey, this is what happened. This is the fact that these things are gonna set you up.
Right.
I'm glad Bro's back there so talking the theory I want to talk about. The reason why this thing is pissing people off is because it now is starting to be part of the curriculum. So if you went to a private school or you went to a state school in a good area where it was 90% one culture or 90% one culture and 10% minority, you got to learn about this.
Yeah. And that's what I think the problem is. It's
Like
because
this
you-
all private school, it's in the curriculum now that we're going to teach the history of the country.
and one
We're
thing,
going to teach red lines. We're going to teach we're going to teach all of that.
and one of the things I heard was
That's not CRT though.
people feel
It's
bad.
not what?
That's not CRT though.
That is
That
You're the
curriculum.
one saying it is.
No, teaching history is not CRT. That's totally.
But that's what they're talking. History. No. You're trying to equate CRT to the feeling. People are feeling bad because they're realizing, like, hey, the reason why my property value is this, this, and this, and I can sell this and move on to this business and have this and this set up to me is because of the way we set it up. That's what critical race theory is.
It's not though.
So, all right. What you got, bro?
I would say that
All I'm saying is I've read multiple things by Derek Bell who
Yeah, talking about
started critical race theory
as a curriculum or just a book.
as a response to rising racism after the Civil Rights Acts in the late 60s, early 70s. He and like 3 other guys came up with this theory, which basically said that basically racism is baked into every aspect of America.
is it not?
It's not anymore.
Wait.
And at one point, yeah.
So
he
it's
said
not
this-
anymore. So that means that it was. And the definition of critical race theory is what? You want me to read it again?
Like I said, you're basing everything off of the definition, but you haven't heard anything by the person who actually wrote it
The definition of it.
and expanded upon it.
So what is he saying?
Like I'm saying, so it's
What is it?
based on intersectionality and stuff, based things on race.
What's his definition of critical race theory? I want to hear what he says critical race theory is.
I mean,
Because I'm pretty sure it's gonna be.
Well, I mean, if he wrote the whole thing, if he made up the whole thing, then
The definition got to come from him,
it's
right?
real. Well, I wouldn't say,
What does he say?
in
White
theory,
people are the
yes,
devil?
but I'm saying
no, it doesn't say white
What's his
people.
name?
no. I'm saying if it's a class in college, it's a
I don't have a problem
curriculum.
with that.
What's his
No,
name?
no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that
Derek
it was
Bell.
based on somewhere, and if this guy came up with this theory, then him and whoever else had to come up with the information that's going to be put out within these classes. How you put this information out is up to you, but there has to be some type of curriculum. I don't know about college. I didn't go to college, but like I would assume that there has to be some type of beginning and end result. You know what I mean? Like what we call a curriculum in school. Hey, you gotta know this you should know this, and then at the end you should know this. And if you don't, then that's where you fail your TOS test or your STAR test or your tax test or whatever the fucking thing it is, and then you stay in school or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So I would assume that there's some type of curriculum that he had set forth. And within that curriculum, what was he saying? Was he saying that racism is embedded within every, like you said, embedded in every aspect of America?
And that white people, anytime that they tried to help people, it was basically, it wasn't really a thing to help black people. It was really just
open-handed.
So like with Brown, he argued
Backhanded slap.
He argued against Brown versus the Board of Education. He said that was actually, white people just basically flexing their power, even though it was arguably a good thing all around. But he was against it because that's the view that he had, that it was only solely to benefit white people. That's the only reason why they did it. Okay. And so that's kind of the view where, like, it's almost this view of white people where it's like they don't do anything that's good for anybody but themselves, and the only time they've ever done anything good is strictly to benefit themselves. They've never done it in anything that they try and do in the future, which is why, people like Ibram Kendi, who also is a follower of CRT, says things like, hold on, I just forgot it.
So I'm a little confused. I'm a little, perturbed when it comes down to this guy. Is he saying that CRT is, well, I mean, obviously it's theory, so obviously it's not proven on any type of facts. Any theory is backed by what you think. It's not necessarily proved on facts. That's why it's fucking a theory instead of a law.
It's a way to look at the world.
But
But is he saying it's a bad thing?
Hold on. What's context about what that guy is saying and what he's feeling about white people in everything? Is like, when did he write this? Like 67 or something?
Well, he wrote it updated in 2001.
2001.
In 2001, he wrote a book with, like I said, it was, I think I have the name, I think it was Alan Freed.
Is he against it or for it?
Derek Bell?
Yeah.
Nah, he's the one who wrote it. Like,
No, but I'm saying, is he against it?
No, he's 100% for it.
So he's for advising the youth of the true history.
I don't know if he. That's like I said, critical race theory has nothing to do with teaching it to somebody. That's
right. It's just
critical race theory is just a way of looking at the world.
Bales, he said, he drew an unsaid inclusion. Racism is so deeply rooted in the makeup of American society that it has been able to reassert itself after each successive wave of reform aimed at eliminating it. Racism. He began to argue it's permanent. His ideas proved fundamental to a body of thought in the 1980s came to be known as critical race theory. So his ideal is,
you gotta send me that shit, that screenshot.
So when did it start?
I'm gonna say it again because
I'm saying that so we can.
When did it start though? If that was in the 80s,
he was a civil rights lawyer who pretty much gave up the fight because no matter what he did, racism will always always prevail. I state again.
And that's the type of principles I don't think is good to teach little kids.
He drew an
racism will always prevail.
Racism is so deeply rooted in the makeup of American society that it's been able to reassert itself after each successful wave of reform aimed at eliminating it. Racism has begun or is permanent. So he's saying, so people don't want to understand that no matter what, racism is always going to be in America. So if you don't want CRT teaching in school, you're saying that you want people to realize racism is always going to be here, regardless. People are going to hate people.
No, but it's he only teaches in one direction. That's the problem. Racism will always be here.
But you were saying that this is the guy
direction.
who said that you're backing him, and he's
I'm not
saying,
backing him. I'm saying that this is his theory. I think it's a shit theory. I don't agree with it.
You think racism always going to be here?
I do. I don't think it's only from white people. I think everyone has the ability to be racist.
And I say it again. Go out there, say it again. So critical race theory, you don't think that they've already set it up for them to be successful if they're the ones who set the country up? You don't
You don't
believe
think
that?
laws change?
I mean, when we talk
I
about
think the
that,
lawmakers are the people who benefit them.
but when we talk about that theory right there, when
You
we
know what
talk
I'm
about
saying?
that
So
theory right
laws
there,
will never
we-
until I'm
a
sorry.
black guy and a white guy can get the same crime, and a black guy will get sentenced harsher time than the white guy. That's
Because the
been.
lawmakers are who?
It's not.
It
wouldn't
is
even
that.
say-
It is that until that system changes because things have been put in place.
If
to
a
keep
judge has
their
the
people on
ability
top.
to say 15 years versus 5 years, that's that judge's ability. Now, what
But
that judge sees in that courtroom
Does that
as a
make,
black man or a white man is up to that person. What I'm saying is
does that make
that
the system racist?
Yes, because we can just
Makes
look at
the
the
person
Supreme.
racist.
Let's look at the Supreme Court.
I will say
Can we look at the
that
Supreme Court?
I will say that
What's the
we-
highest judges in the country?
I will say that
Right.
Judge Kavanaugh, whatever his goddamn name is.
Who else? Who else
I'm
we
just-
believe is not working for people of minorities?
In the Supreme Court?
Well,
Yes.
you're supposed to work for all
Alito,
people.
Roberts?
No,
Kavanaugh?
You're just gonna
he
name
looks
one.
like who?
Huh?
He looks like who?
Oh, Clarence Thomas?
That's all I'm saying. So until the entire shit is changed,
Yeah.
it's a system set up for. That's what it is, and I believe it's there.
Yeah, I'm not denying the system. What I'm saying is that when you have the system, there are certain things, yes, that and part of me, I can't even really say the system because it's
But you just said it. If you,
no, what
what
I'm
was
saying.
your
Can
first
I
example?
let me finish? The system,
All right,
but
you
the
got it,
system
you
is
know.
what I'm saying is that
Go ahead.
if you're talking about a situation where there's not no, oh, you're black, you get a harsher law. There's nothing set up like that. Now, that's what I say, what that person sees in the courtroom, if you look at a white man as a white man and you look at a black man as a white man, that's where I think that, like you're saying, it may be personal, it may be whatever, but it definitely, I'm not gonna sit up here and deny the fact that black people do get harsher sentences. Black people do have a harder time. The whole sayings of, oh, you gotta work harder than that man, or oh, I gotta do double what you gotta do. That shit is not coming from somebody just pulling it out their ass, just trying to make a joke. You know what I'm saying? That shit is real. But to say that, oh man, this quote unquote system is designed for you to fail, I understand where it's coming from. I understand that they may not come out and teach the literature to say, hey man, when you get this type of person in your courtroom, bam them. But you know when you get this type of person in your courtroom, bam them. Or when you catch this person doing this, wham them. Or when you catch this motherfucker in your room or in your office trying to get you to represent him in court, take from him. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't sit up here and act like these things don't happen. But because I can't sit up here and say that, oh man, this law is designed strictly for black people. I can't say the quote unquote system. Although the people in this system definitely do utilize their positions to cut down a lot of black people. And at a alarming rate.
So you're saying you don't think
The system itself. If I give you a job to say, hey man, you pick up box A, take it to box B, and you put box B and box A in package C. That system is not designed, oh, because you're weak, you can't do it, or because this guy's weaker, he can't do it. No, that system's designed to maneuver.
Okay.
So if you're a weak guy, you may feel like, oh man, this system's designed to
That's
fuck
not
people
what
up.
We're not talking about that. We're talking about the
What I'm saying is that there's no law that comes out and says if you're black, you get a harsher time than this person. The law states that if you do this crime, you're subjected to quote unquote time.
right.
And what I'm saying is, Corey said that he don't feel like the system is racist or whatever. CRT is in the system or whatever. I'm saying that I feel like the people within the system. What did you say?
I didn't say the system. There are definitely like race. Keep going. You're good. Keep going.
No, what I'm saying is that there's no system. I'm not gonna say that. What I'm saying is that the system of the law, the judicial system, whatever you want to call it, is not designed for just a black person to fail. Although black people do get charged at alarming rates higher than other people do. That's what I'm saying.
Which is
So,
why I wanted to.
It's
deny
a
that
personal
racism
thing,
is
not
definitely
necessarily a system. Like, oh man, this system is made. Oh man, if you're black and you're selling crack, you get 25 years. But if you're white and selling crack, you get a probation. That's not how the law. That's literally not how the law is written. Although that happens, I don't know if on those terms.
It's not written like that, but it's written like if you're selling cocaine, like hard cocaine, you might not get the same
Sentence as somebody that's selling crack.
Right.
Yeah,
Of course.
crack is definitely.
That's a
high.
fucking different. Not to be there. That's a different form of drug. Yes, we realized, the system realized that black people utilize crack more because it was cheaper than cocaine.
Oh, at
So I
first they-
harshen the
They
punishment.
really did. Absolutely. During the,
Of course,
80s
that's
and
what
90s.
I understand that. But what I'm saying is right now, there's no harsher sentence for a black guy that's written in laws that
How come
says,
they're
hey
not-
man.
How come they're not doubling down on all the heroin junkies right now? How come they need
Because that's their
how come
nephews
they
and
need-
nieces and
Heroin's-
goddamn
heroin's not
fucking
just a-
sons and
Not just
cousins.
a white thing, but they did do it for meth, which is a
Bro,
very
heroin
white
is
thing.
heavy on the white folks.
Yeah.
Heroin's not just a white thing though.
It's not, of course,
Not just-
smoking
Meth is-
weed,
meth is
fucking
more
drinking
like-
beer.
I feel
There's
like
nothing
white
that's
people
just
are
a
more
white
like
person.
that.
The N-word is not just a black person's thing. There's white boys that get privileged to say that shit. There's nothing in this world that's just a quote-unquote race thing other than
Right.
having blue eyes permanently and not
I
putting...
got blue-eyed uncles. I have
True
blue-eyed-
too. I've
I
seen a
was
black
about
body.
to say,
Okay, so there's nothing that's just suggested to one
Jealousy.
particular race. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
you're right.
I can't run with that theory where it's just, oh man, it's just those guys. Hell no. You know, if you sell crack and I sell crack, I think we should get the same time.
I agree.
If you sell crack, I sell crack. You don't have no prior. I have a prior. I might get more time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't think that is right that I buy drugs from you, I turn it into crack. You got the cocaine in your pocket, I got the crack in my pocket, and they give me 25 years and they give you probation.
Crack is a harder drug for some reason. I don't know.
I never
We
smoked crack.
have way more in quantity as well.
Well, yeah. I mean, but I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm just not about to sit up here and say that. I'm not gonna say critical race theory is a bad thing. I'm not gonna say critical race theory is a good thing. Obviously, it expounds so many subjects, so many. It's on a whole spectrum of different topics that you can't talk about. But I will say this: America is, and I'm not gonna say will be continued. America is built on racism. Period. We can't go anywhere in any facet, any type of life, in any form, and not quote unquote experience some type of racism when it comes down to bank loans, jobs, credit cards, cars, stores, eating out. There's racism in every type of aspect of America. But in that same breath, America is a great place to stay, man.
For the most part.
For the most part. When you
For the
get the
most part.
democracy that we get, when you get the freedom that we get, when you get certain things like that. I'm not saying it's like, I'll deal with the bullshit, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I'd rather be here than be in a mud hut or potentially get. God damn. If you could say anything, any type of, man, you know what? Because that's the first thing I thought about.
You wouldn't be like in Germany.
You could be in Germany. Thank you for bringing that spectrum up. Germany, mud hut.
Fucking
Give me one.
Ricefield.
I knew he was gonna say that. That's crazy.
Right.
I knew he was gonna say that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I was gonna say that. But I knew he was gonna say that. But what I'm saying is, I would rather be here than anywhere else. Not saying I agree with everything that goes on here or how things go on here, but the democracy, the freedom that we have here is like almost second to none, if not first to none. You know what I mean?
Yeah, with the CRT thing, it just, for me, I don't have a problem with teaching the history. It's just the offshoots that happen with and maybe, hopefully, it is just a handful of schools, but it is what I've seen. It's some big school districts, like the 5th biggest school district in the country, you know, adopting this stuff. But either way, I'm not trying to act like you said. Of course, racism is not absent here. You know, it exists and it will continue to exist, unfortunately, forever, because racism is unfortunately a human trait. And I wouldn't say that.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say a fucking human trait.
You get a large enough amount of
There's black kids that love white kids and white kids that love
okay,
black
let me
kids.
not say trait.
Learn trait.
I don't think that.
Learn trait.
I don't know if that'll ever go out of style. And
not until these old folks die out, bro.
I don't think it'll ever.
You gotta teach people about.
You have to teach racism. Racism isn't learned.
No, absolutely not.
Oh, excuse me. Racism isn't
inherent.
Isn't a trait. Yeah. Racism is
trait,
something that's
sure.
You got to teach that shit.
And you have to teach that it's fucked up.
Yeah. So you gotta.
So CRT is not teaching
We
that
need to bring the
racism
caregivers
is cool.
back.
It's teaching that racism is fucked up.
Right.
Well, fuck the Care Bears. These and it's fucked up to say, but old motherfuckers have to die off because some of these people we're at an age where, you know, motherfuckers 70 years old, 80 years old, these motherfuckers ain't changing.
Yeah.
They realize at what stage of life that they're in, like, and not even trying to be on no funny shit. Like, they realize that they have more days behind them than they have in front of them.
Right.
So what am I gonna change for? 90%, I would say 90, but some of those people, everything that y'all got is because of me. And I'm not in my crazy mind, I'm in my sensible mind. I know what's going on.
Yeah.
I'm not about to change shit. So to me, some of those people have to get out the way and create a you got to create a better world for everybody else. Because if you're spewing hate, it doesn't necessarily mean that their grandchildren or whoever's gonna take it. It's just something that you may be accustomed to. It's just something that you just may know. Oh yeah, my grandfather was racist as a motherfucker. Or my great-great-grandfather was whatever. But they have to get out the way because at the end of the day, if that's the monarchy or the hierarchy in our family, and he sits down and spews hate, as a kid, you're gonna wanna fucking get approval by him. And that shit may come from
them
him.
that it's hate.
No.
You get
Because
what
I'm the
saying?
monarchy, I'm the hierarchy in this
But if
family.
you're not learning in school, in a place where you go to learn about history, that hey, what he's speaking at home is bullshit. This is really what happened.
Yeah, I agree with you, but that's what we're talking about is
That's what I'm
the
saying.
information with being put out because there's some schools that probably don't talk about that shit at all.
Then there's this one school that literally sent a whole different set of instructions and like whatever the year plan was, curriculum. They sent a whole different set to the parents than what they were teaching in the schools because it was all CRT type stuff. And then when the parents found out, it was a big issue. But yeah,
Was that a predominantly white school?
CRT is that boogeyman word.
Huh?
It was a school in Missouri.
Predominantly white?
It's that CRT is that boogeyman word that people hang on. The same as goes back to the Purge Act. When we got to reading about what the actual Purge Act was, you're like,
Right.
well, they just use this one part to make it a boogie, a scary type thing. The same with CRT. It's a boogeyman type word to make you think, oh, it's fucked up. No, we're just teaching the fact that things have been set in place for one group
To flourish.
to flourish. The fact that slavery being allowed in certain states was voted on in 2022 still shows that the system is set up for whites. I'm gonna go whites because that's the definition, to be dominant. It's set up. The fact that that was voted on, that people could have voted to say, well, we want slavery again. They're not slaving white folks.
Try to get me. Try to get me, motherfuckers.
It's not about it here. It's about just doing the research. So when you go CRT, if you go on what you hear is the boogeyman word.
No, it's what you.
But if you research
yeah,
and you understand what's actually going on, the same with the Purge Act. All people heard was, man, all I heard was the Purge Acts. But when we sat here and read the entire bill, like, they picked one part of the bill to try to make it a boogeyman word so it wouldn't get passed.
but it was in the bill though, right?
Everything else was good, right?
Yeah,
So when you look at CRT, everything about it is good until it's the fact that
you're teaching
you're
people
the
to hate
problem.
white people.
No, you're not teaching. You're
You
teaching.
are.
You're not
That's what
teaching
the
them to
issue.
hate white people. You're teaching them the. They're feeling guilty.
Right.
They don't have to make that fucking conversation they have to have at home. Like, the reason why we're rich is because we held people of a different demographic down. We use their labor to get rich. That's why we're rich. And you don't want to feel guilty about it. That's all it boils down to, is they don't have to make
It's
that
not
speech.
we though, because you're talking about such a small percentage of the population that is
The rich
related.
folks.
But that's not the people that are upset about it, and only.
So when the
There are
rich
other
folks say
people who are
that you
upset
had the
about it.
opportunity, they're not talking about minorities.
What you mean?
When they say, oh, you had the opportunity to be successful, they're not talking about the minorities. It's not set up for them to be successful. And that's facts. We can go right back down to the red line.
Like I said,
Right back down to the red
if
line.
you go back to what Derek Bell said, like you said,
I just went to. No matter what, it's always going to be embedded that racism is there and it is built for white folks to be successful.
That's not the only thing he said though. He also expounded on how white people are responsible for this and they're never going to change and all that different type of stuff. So teaching that type of stuff to kids is not the correct thing to do, in my opinion. And like y'all said, racism is something that's taught. So why are we teaching it to third graders?
Combat it, bro. Because we just went to the example that the 90 and 70-year-old people who still believe in racism are going to embed that this is the way it's supposed to be.
How much people still believe in racism?
This is the way it's supposed to be. When you go to school and they're saying that you shouldn't do this thing.
It's a lot more higher than.
You shouldn't do this because that is racism and that's fucked up. You shouldn't treat these people this way and this way because they're equal. But the people at home are saying no. This is how it's supposed to be.
That's not what they're saying.
Well, that's what they're saying. That's the example we
They're not
use.
saying that white people are horrible and you shouldn't trust them.
They're saying that this right here is set up for them to be successful. And people at home are saying you're 90 and 80 and 70-year-old people you feel should die off before it changes. They're saying this is the way it has to be. And if the people who they're saying that to are not taught that it's not supposed to be that way, it will continue to be the same way those 90, 80, and 70-year-olds want it to be. The way they set it up. That's what that shit is.
I don't agree.
And
At
that's
all.
cool.
I
We
don't
have an
agree.
argument.
Just because we've changed without it.
we
we've
have not changed. The shit's
significantly.
still there, bro.
We're just you can't say we're just as racist as we were 60 years ago.
I think financially it is.
No, but just 60
No, this
years
country
ago,
was not anywhere
just
near
60 years
as
ago, I
racist
was
as it
allowed
was.
to, I was given the right to vote. I was started to be, I was looked like as
Is that
a
still-
man. I was a
Right.
man.
And
instead
that's
of a woman.
insane.
Is that
In
still
60
voted
years.
on? Is that the one
Yeah,
that wait
they're still
every?
making decisions on that.
Okay.
I mean, for me,
I believe you. I just haven't heard that. I believe you.
Once
That's a
again,
fact.
go to the boogie words. You don't research, you just hear CRT. Oh, that's a bad thing. Just
I
do
mean, when
research.
you just look
Yeah, I
at
did
2013, Mississippi abolished slavery. That's crazy.
So we
They
shouldn't
made it
teach that.
illegal in 2013
We shouldn't teach that.
that it was
Yeah, teaching
illegal
that's
for
not
you to
CRT.
own slaves. Just the thought process of that in
Right, it's not
2013. And I'm not saying that to say that Mississippi is wrong or right or anything. Some shit might get swept up under the rug.
Can I
They didn't
speak
say
on
that.
that?
I don't know. But what I'm saying is that to act like slavery wasn't a pivotal point in our existence, if you're not, and this is I'm not even gonna say it's controversial. If you ain't black, you probably don't know what it feels like to be black walking around these streets. You get looked at differently, you get treated differently. I have to wear a certain type of clothes to be accepted amongst others. I have to act a certain type of way to be accepted amongst others. If I act a certain type of way, I'm automatically categorized as a certain type of person. Those type of things, and I'm not saying every white person or every other person that sees me acts this way. What I'm saying is, if I don't wear a certain type of clothes, if I wear a certain type of clothes, I'm automatically categorized as a certain type of person. And I'm treated as such. Regardless of my knowledge, regardless of my skill, regardless of my job, regardless of whatever I got going on, I'm treated as a certain type of person.
I had an Air Force uniform once, and I still got treated the same way, bro. Like, it don't matter what you wear.
That's where I'm saying, again, that may not be CRT. That may not be in line with what you're saying. But what I'm saying is, we as Americans, we have to acknowledge the past at least.
Absolutely.
And we all can agree on that.
But can I get back to the Drake Bell and what you said? 2013 is when they abolished what?
Slavery in Mississippi.
So what he's saying is, guess what? They did it that way. Yeah, we're gonna come out and say this way, but we'll oppress you in a different aspect. No matter what we do, we're gonna oppress you in a different way. Racism is always gonna be here. We'll say, hey, guess what? We'll abolish slavery. We damn sure ain't hire you at no job. We don't know all the businesses.
And a whole bunch of more shit is now against the law, so watch out.
Exactly. That is what he states it is. From the research that I read, just a short little bit of what I read, that's the theory that he had in his head.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is, we can go to boogeyman words, and you say you research it. I know you do, but we just gotta dig.
Damn it.
I know, I know you do try. I'm not knocking you. You research it, but just how I look at it is, they like to use the boogeyman words and create something that it's not. Oh, CRT just wants our kids to feel bad about shit that we didn't do. It was our grandparents. No, I read it out loud what he meant. I gave examples of what he meant.
Yeah. But
We read from the Oxford. He said smart folks. That definition worked for every other word, but it don't want to work for this.
what, smart?
Oxford. When you look up the dictionary, hey, definition of the is the.
Yeah.
But when we search the definition for this, oh, they don't know shit. What?
No, I mean, well,
It's just an incomplete.
in terminology, he may find a different reference point. Like
That's
you
true.
say, you can find any reference point to make your point about anything in the world. But I'm not about to sit up here and say that what somebody believes. Well, I'm not gonna say that either. I think that's up for an interpretation. That's why it's a theory. I'll just leave it as that. I'll just say that right there because it's not a fact. It's a theory, and it's gonna remain a theory for time. Why? Not even gonna get into that. But to me it will remain a theory for time because you can prove it in some aspects and you can't prove it in others. Because there is white folks are minorities or whatever that may align with it, and there's others that don't. You know what I mean? So that's where I think that.
I want to get pushback on that.
What?
It's saying that it's set up for white folks to be successful.
Yeah, it's a theory.
It's a theory.
That's
right?
all I'm saying. It's a theory.
So
It's not saying every white person that way or every
yes,
black person that way.
but it's set up for them to be successful. Yes.
Yeah, that's a theory.
Yeah.
It may be proven. It may have factual things behind it. But I can't say that every black person likes chicken. Why? Because I haven't went around the world and asked every black person if they like chicken. And if I do that, and every black person says, "Oh hell yeah, I fucks with it," then I can come out and say it's no more a stereotype. That is a fact that black people like chicken. I can't say that as a fact. So if we're gonna write something down and try to prove it somewhere, it will be, or not even try to prove it, but if we're gonna write something down and back it with some type of information, it's a theory. So what that guy wrote down is a theory from his point of view.
But we
Is
talk
there
about
relevance in it? Yes. Is there factual things that he said in it? Yes. But he's saying white folks or whoever is this way. He can't say every single person. You know what I mean? And I think that's where...
Okay, you got it. Go ahead.
I think that's where people have a problem with it at. Because if I'm white and you're telling me that white people are racist and I'm not that, now you're putting me in a category that I'm not in. Or if I'm black and you're telling me black people do this and I don't do it, you're putting me in a category that I'm not in.
But that's not the theory he's saying. I get your reference. What he's saying is things are designed for white folks to have better opportunities than minorities. And you can prove that damn near everywhere.
Hmm?
Things were designed that way.
What's up?
Things were designed that way.
What the fuck are we talking about then? That's what he said it was.
Right.
Again, I don't have a problem
What are
with
we talking
teaching
about,
people. I have a problem with the other things that they teach the kids. That's what I have a problem with. I don't teaching kids
Are we talking about
racism
They
type
don't
shit.
teach kids like.
But
I
they
know
do,
that
bro.
you-
Like, I'll
They just
show you.
teach
I
what
have
you
like
said.
10
But
different
those are just-
articles.
That's
with
but they're
multiple
not
examples
even
of
teaching.
these
But they're
shit.
teaching. They're like they might be pulling principles from it, but they're not teaching
Bro, they make
critical race
in North
theory.
Carolina, they make all the white teachers apologize for what white people.
That's not
did.
critical race
Yes,
theory,
it
bro.
is.
We
Yes,
talking
it
about
is.
what I just asked
That's
you.
all intertwined, and that's
I
my
just
point.
asked you
is
what
when
critical
you
race theory.
go
What is
deeper,
critical race theory?
It's
It's proven
hard.
that
That's what I'm
things are
saying.
set up
Getting a
for white
single
folks to be successful.
definition out of it is difficult because it's such an expensive thing, which is why it's a theory, not just a definition. Trying to boil down an entire theory to a definition is going to leave you
I just
missing
asked you
all
not
kinds
even
of
2
shit.
minutes ago, and you said I agree.
I
Things
agree
set up for
that-
white people to be
that
successful.
things were set up for white people to be successful.
That's what the fuck it is,
That's
bro.
not what he's teaching, though. Or, well, that's not what the teachers are teaching in the schools, which is what I have a problem with. If they were just saying, hey,
So you have a problem with
This
the
happened.
teachers, what they're teaching, but it's not that what critical race theory is, what the teachers are teaching.
they're teaching the way that they're teaching the principles of critical race theory is
Man,
what
what's
they're
the
doing.
principles of critical? We just talked about.
Equity, intersectionality.
No, the
that's why I was
principle
talking
of
about those
critical
things
race
earlier.
theory is what? The things are set up for white people to be more successful. That's the principle of it.
And that white people
No,
are also yes.
You bring-
That's what I'm
You
saying.
just
like,
said yes to that, now you're adding on.
I just said that I agree that the system was set up by white people for white
I
people
don't-
back then.
That's what
But
it
I don't
is.
think that
That's not all
I
it
don't
is,
think
though.
that there's no part of it where it's supposed to, where it's like shaming white people or saying that white people
not
should
at
feel
all.
bad.
And that's respectfully, you keep saying, you even said it earlier. I looked for this long, but that's
You
not
found
all
out.
the research. You didn't find out everything. That's my point. He
Based on
has
the dude you said.
dozens of papers that you didn't go through during that time period. He has multiple articles that theorize all this stuff and explain all this stuff that's longer than just something you can look up
You
in
want me to send
5
you
to
that
10
message?
minutes.
You want me to screenshot that thing? I got you. 'Cause we can talk in circles on this.
We can't. I enjoy it though.
I got work tomorrow.
Hey man, well, CTR. Get at it.
Bringing people together.
CRT. Goddamn, CTR, what is that? An email?
That's the concussion stuff.
No, that's the email that you be sending to. But, no, man.
CRT, bringing people together.
Bringing people together. It's continuously tracking residentials. That's what CRT is. It's Spot below. Hey man, y'all got anything for me?
CTR that you just said.
No,
That.
yeah.
CTR.
Man,
Continuously
fuck outta
tracking
here, man.
residentials.
Shout out, well, y'all got anything for me? Got it? Lando, got anything?
If y'all don't hate me or think I'm a terrible person, check out Appropriately Offensive.
Racist.
King Dan'O. Hey man, well, appreciate y'all tuning in. Hey man, jump down in them comments, tell us what y'all think. Like and subscribe. I guess I said it right. Whatever it is, man, do that shit. Turn on your notifications, motherfucker.
Do that.
Go
Peace out.
Tiger, do that shit.
Another session with the bros. BrosTalk. Where the beer's ice cold. BrosTalk. Another session.